Okay, there we go. All right, hello everybody. Welcome to Q&A live stream number 67. It is approximately 8:02 p.m. right here on the East Coast in the great state of New Jersey. And today is Monday, August 3rd, 2020. And there is a lot of stuff to talk about today. So sit back, grab a snack, a nice cold drink, and enjoy because we have a lot of stuff to cover today in this live stream. Obviously, this has been covered in previous videos. However, this live stream is to talk about a couple of major retail closings in the last couple of days and to go over, of course, what's happening. Okay, so first off, JCPenney. This is an obvious one. So on Saturday, August 2nd, 2020, JCPenney began listing phase one of the stores that's expected to auction off. Now, what is significant about this announcement is they are actually auctioning off their very first JCPenney store that was ever built. This to me was very sad and just very depressing. It's a bittersweet, definitely, but hopefully the museum can buy the store and make that like a actual run it as a JCPenney store / gift shop. I would love for the museum to do something like that because that is definitely a historical piece down there in Kimmermer, Wyoming. So definitely, I hope the museum steps in and saves that store. Okay, so the next thing I want to get into is Lord & Taylor. And before I do that, hi, Dylan D. Jesus. Hello, Nicole Cesar. And hello, Elevators of Steel City by Otis Elevator Fan. How are you all guys doing? So the next thing I want to talk about is Lord & Taylor. So that's right. Lord & Taylor on Sunday, August 3rd, 2020, declared Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And as of today, Monday, August 3rd, 2020, JCPenney. Lord & Taylor has officially announced that they're closing 19 out of their 38 remaining locations, which means they're probably going to have just a little bit over a dozen stores left. It's a shame, but they want to try and save the brand. Hopefully they can. I mean, it'd be really nice to save some of the jobs. The only Lord & Taylor that's closing in New Jersey is Willowbrook. New York State, like in the western region, especially got hit hard. But Lord & Taylor is still keeping a presence in New Jersey. They're only closing Willowbrook, and I'll try to get to Willowbrook and hopefully Bayshore as well. I'm not going to waste my time with Yonkers because that's really just nothing special. But definitely Willowbrook. South Shore is a 50-50. It depends on everything that goes on and stuff. So, but we'll see what happens with Lord & Taylor. But yeah, it's a real shame. I mean, Lee Totet was terrible. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get a decent buyer for Lord & Taylor and save the jobs. Because I think the last thing that everybody wants is all these jobs to be lost because a buyer could not be found for Lord & Taylor. That would really suck, honestly, for Lord & Taylor. Hi, Pascagoula Valley Line Trains. How are you? Oh, you live on Long Island. Do you which mall do you live near? I think Roosevelt Field. That's the only other one that still is the JCPenney. Apparently South Shore, which is the JCPenney at least, is apparently on a lease, meaning anybody buys them out, they have no choice but to close the store. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. I know Bright Sun Films, another really good YouTuber. A really good YouTuber made a really good video about American Dream, so I definitely recommend you guys check it out. Obviously not right now, but definitely at some point during the week, you should definitely check out Bright Sun Films. I recommend Bright Sun Films to anybody. He is top notch, very quality videos, like high quality videos, and really does know what he's talking about behind the camera and stuff. And he's really made, and he's a real success story. That's for sure. Talking about abandoned places and bankrupt chains, and he really does have a success story behind it. So I do definitely recommend that you guys watch him. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with American Dream. Yeah, Raw Retail is pretty good too. They do some really, like, I watched the one on Freehold Raceway Mall. And they do a really good job. I think they did Paramus Park, Woodbridge Center. I even think they did Monmouth Mall. Yeah, they make some pretty good mall documentaries. Oh, Roosevelt Field. Yeah, I've been meaning to get to Roosevelt Field, but a big ticket store would have to close in order for me to go out there. Otherwise, I'm not wasting my time. Thanks, John. Yeah, yep. It's gonna be yeah, American Dream is mostly just gonna be entertainment at this point. It's a shame too, because they really had some awesome like retail plans. And obviously, as everybody knows, the current health situation with the pandemic, right now a mall isn't the best thing to be operating right now, which is a real shame because they really had some bold plans to make American Dream a really good mall. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that, unfortunately. Yeah, I know. 20 plus years and American Dream is not fully opened. Me too, man. And it's like less than 20 minutes away. You know, it's such an eyesore in New Jersey, at least. Um, yeah, unfortunately, Willowbrook is closing. So, um, yeah, it's a shame Willowbrook is closing, the Lord and Taylor. But like I said, that's like about 20 minutes away, so I'll definitely get there before it closes. Yeah, Woodbridge has some really nice architecture, and personally, I'm glad I went back in 2019, right when Lord and Taylor was closing, because that mall now lost both its Lord and Taylor and lost its Sears right at the height of the coronavirus pandemic. The store closure was announced like maybe a month before the pandemic and all the restrictions by the government. But it's still a shame because now that mall only has a Macy's, a J.C. Penney, a Boscov's, and a Dick's Sporting Goods. There's not really much to do with that mall now, so I'm glad I went when I went. Same thing with Freehold. You don't no longer have a Nordstrom's, which is a damn shame. That was a huge loss, by the way. That Otis traction or Elevonic. Yeah, it's something. It's better than nothing. Now it's similar to what Ocean County Mall is because it has a Macy's and it has a Boscov's. I think something just dropped. I don't know. Something just dropped. I don't know what it was. I'll take a look at it later. Hi, Mohammed Sonic Boom. How are you? Oh, an American Dream. Yeah, yeah. Woodbridge has some interesting architecture. A lot what like Quaker Bridge used to have, and Staten Island. Like it had that like what was it, Rouse? Because it was built by because both malls were built by Rouse, and then GGP took it over, and then Brookfield took it over. Because now Brookfield has several malls in New Jersey. They have Paramus Park, Willowbrook Mall, Bridgewater Commons, Woodbridge Center, and Monmouth Mall as well. They also have the Brookfield property of Staten Island Mall as well, which I haven't been there in about 5 years. I'm personally not rushing to get there anytime soon. I really don't have a desire to do so unless I'm on Staten Island for some odd reason. Sure, I'll make a trip to the Staten Island Mall. And that's probably not even going to be until there at least there's a vaccine. So don't look for any Staten Island Mall videos anytime soon because malls right now in New York City are not allowed to be opened, only outside of New York City. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll see what happens with that. Woodbridge Center. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah, Woodbridge was is a really unique mall too. Yeah, I mean, I see where you're going with that, but Roosevelt Field's like a mall for everybody, kind of. Yeah, I don't know why. Century 21 could have opened something at the Gallery Westbury Plaza, but I guess Century wanted to go in the former Bloomingdale's Furniture at Roosevelt Field, which makes sense. I'm sure it's going to be a very top, a high performer for them. That store. Like, I mean, especially considering the space that they're going to renovate, that's going to be one of the top performers in New York State. And it's supposed to open next year, and hopefully by then there'll be a vaccine. I don't know. Maybe I'll go then when there's a new Century 21 opening up, but who knows? Oh, it did. Yeah, I don't really know about Beaver Valley Mall, unfortunately. A lot of people on here tonight. But yeah, the two major things was J.C. Penney and Lord and Taylor. And Lord and Taylor filed for Chapter 11, which is a real shame. But hopefully the stores can be saved. I mean, let's try and save as many jobs as possible. So Oh, yeah. Oh, Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh. Okay. Yeah, Century 21 is very picky about where they go, but they do really good. I've heard really good things about Century 21. Like they have a nice store at the Olives of Bergentown Center, which went in the former Macy's, which used to be a Stearns, and they do pretty good in that spot from what I hear at least. There's also a couple Century 21s in New York City. There's a Century 21 at what is it, the Mills of Jersey Gardens, and there's also another Century 21 in Morristown, which used to be another Macy's store, right in the downtown of Morristown. Actually, I've been there a couple of times or twice. It's not that bad of a store. Um, what else? No surprise there. I mean, look at all the stores. Look at all the stores under the TJ Maxx brand. You got TJ Maxx, you got Marshalls, you got Home Goods, you got Home Sense, and you have Sierra Trading Post. They have 5 stores under one big TJX roof. So I'm not surprised that Business Insider would make an article like that. Hey Scott, I heard about Lord and Taylor. It's unfortunate. They're closing Willowbrook in New Jersey, and they're closing Bayshore out on Long Island, and they're closing Yonkers in Ridge Hill. Honestly, the Ridge Hill one sucked only because it was a newer store and the elevator wasn't that great. Bayshore, I'm a little disappointed about. And what was the other one? Not Bayshore, but not Bayshore. Oh, Willowbrook. Yeah, those are the 3 that are closing in the area at least. Definitely getting to Willowbrook. Bayshore is a 50-50. Maybe by the end of this month, I'll go out there or something. And what's it called? Rich, I'm not wasting my time. That's a Kone. I'm not going all the way to Yonkers for a Kone. Sorry. Willowbrook, I will gladly do because that's like 20 minutes away, and maybe Bayshore if I decide to go out to Walt Whitman before the summer's over. No, nothing on Garden City right now. Just Bayshore is the only one on Long Island that's liquidating. Yeah, I know. Well, actually, now that you bring up Westfield Sunrise, they just announced today on their Facebook page that they're going back to the original Sunrise Mall name. So it's just going to be called Sunrise Mall now. So it's going from Westfield Sunrise to Sunrise Mall. Personally, I think it's because they don't want their name, like they don't want the Westfield name on an underperforming property. I see why they're doing it because I even tried asking concierge today. I think it's a very slow process to uh, phase out the Westfield name in the mall and then eventually sell the mall because honestly, that mall is done. I mean, Sears's days at that mall are numbered, and Macy's could very well try and close that store. Honestly, Westfield Sunrise days as a mall are numbered. You know, they never renovated the mall, and Westfield had big plans to renovate the mall. But unfortunately, you had someone on the town of Oyster Bay who didn't want it to get renovated at the time, and that guy pretty much doomed the mall. Think about it. JC Walmart closed in 2015. JC Penney closed in 2017. Sears can go any day, and Macy's could very well be looking to get rid of some stores. Honestly, I think if Macy's were to get rid of Sunrise, you still have Green Acres down the road, which is a top performer, and they modernized the elevator in that store. And then you have Westfield South Shore, which has the new Kone. So, yeah, yeah, Westfield Sunrise is very depressing. Really? They closed off the 3rd floor? Well, then that probably means the stores are. Did they put like walls in front of the escalators? That makes sense. Hey Matt, how are you, man? I just wanted to let you know that Lord and Taylor that you visited the other day in Pennsylvania is now closing. The only one left is going to be King of Prussia. So Lord and Taylor is almost done exiting the Philly market. Um, but wow, yeah, that they did the same thing with Woodbridge too. They closed off the 3rd floor and then they closed it. So I'm not surprised. That probably means that means that store is on borrowed time pretty much. It also probably means that store's days at that mall are numbered at this point, which is unfortunate. But what can you do? Lord and Taylor Bayshore, yes, but not J.C. Penney. They did an extensive review, and for right now, it's on a lease apparently. So I'm pretty good. Thanks for asking. Couple more freehold videos. I got videos from a local mall around here that are going to go up in the next couple of days, and I might very well go see a what's it called? Another mall before the end of the summer. So I got a couple of bags, a couple of things in my bag before the end of the summer. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, Sears sucks, but there's nothing yet on that one. So yeah, the Hurricane Isaias or whatever it's called. I think it's just a tropical storm. It's not really. It's gonna rain all day tomorrow, which is fine because I actually have to do something for school. But yeah, interesting. I think that one is closing too, but I'm not sure. There's a very good reason behind Walmart closing at Westfield Sunrise. So Walmart really liked the concept of a supermarket in their stores. I don't know if everybody obviously in this live stream has been to a Walmart. So Walmart years ago used to not have supermarkets. Then they wanted to get in the grocery business, and all of a sudden they expanded into grocery stores. The problem was they couldn't do that at Westfield Sunrise because it wasn't fit to house a supermarket. So that's why Walmart at Westfield Sunrise had to close. 75 miles per hour. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like a hurricane, but it is going to be a storm. Like it is going to be severe, but who knows? Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that another Walmart store located in Saddlebrook hasn't closed yet, and that doesn't have like a deli, right? That's just like a basic Walmart. Like Walmart should really like close that store and keep Garfield and Teterboro. Honestly, interesting. I don't know. What's up, Walter Eric? How are you? What a crock, Eddie Lampert. Yeah, it closed in 2015, like early, like 5 years ago. It closed because Walmart didn't renew the lease with Westfield, and they wanted to get out, and that was the beginning of the end for the mall. The other issue was Walmart also took away from a lot of the stores inside the mall as well. So Walmart was like competition to all the stores on the inside. So that was another reason why the mall didn't exactly wasn't exactly thriving anymore. Because not only do you got your own you had your own competition on the property that was competing with all the other stores. So that was I think that was an issue too. So yeah, it wasn't a bad Walmart, but it was competing with all the other stores in there. It just didn't make sense. Plus, Walmart had plenty of other stores, and they could let go of a store that's underperforming. Same thing with Princeton. They're closing a Walmart in Princeton because it's got the old exterior, and they closed the Sam's Club there because there was a Costco down the road. So they're better off now just having a. They're just gonna have. They're not gonna have old Costco or Sam's. Yeah, what is it? The Nassau Park Pavilion. They've lost the Kohl's. They lost the Babies R Us. They've lost the what was the other store? They lost Sam's Club, and now they're slated to lose Walmart. So Nassau Park Pavilion is in trouble too. Westfield South Shore Sears closed in 2015. That became a Dick's Sporting Goods. I personally don't know. It's whenever they post something on jobs.sears.com. That's where I typically go to check for my Sears store closing insider, typically. But that's just what I do. So yeah, yeah, it's unfortunate. And it's not just the department stores that are struggling. You got all the other little retailers that are struggling as well. Lane Bryant, Men's Warehouse, who just filed for bankruptcy today. It's depressing. It's all because of unfortunately of a virus. It's just. I mean, I knew it would have been gradual, but wow, I mean, this really just accelerated the whole process, unfortunately, and there's no going back, unfortunately. So, hmm. No, not tonight. Yeah, it is too bad. Hey Joe, how are you, man? Well, we'll see what happens if you ride up the elevator on the third floor. Interesting. Yeah, that Sears' days are probably numbered. JCPenney expects new owner by the fall. We'll wait and see what happens with that. I heard. Yeah. Yeah, Roosevelt Field has a lot of good anchors too. They have a Macy's, they have a Neiman Marcus, which is struggling, a Nordstrom, a Bloomingdale's, and a JCPenney, surprisingly. So a good array of anchors. You got a bunch of nice restaurants and a bunch of nice stores. So, yep. Yeah, they're closing one in Willowbrook, and they're closing another one in Bayshore, and they're closing one in what's it called? Oh, Yonkers. Those are the only three they're closing, at least in the New York, New Jersey area. They're closing a couple in Connecticut. West Farms got hit hard, so it's a real shame too, all because of the poor leadership at Lee Totet. Yeah, it was led by a bunch of nobodies, so it's a shame. It's a real shame that they're being led. And Neiman Marcus too. Yeah, they're badly affected. In fact, Neiman Marcus isn't even allowing anybody in their stores. Um, it's by appointment only. So, well, they're removing the Westfield name, so I'm sure it's going to be a very slow transition away from the Westfield name because Westfield is probably so disappointed in that property, which is a shame. Probably not unless it's on the list. Like I said, check the list. That typically gives you the best intel about which stores are still going to operate and which stores are closing. Yeah, they're closing Hudson Yards, which never did well. They're closing two stores in Florida and one store in Washington State. Yeah, hopefully the museum can buy that one. That would be nice if the museum bought the mother J.C. Penney store. Wow. Yeah, that is a huge loss of Vector. It's not easy to lose a Vector. I'm hoping to try and get back to Monmouth because hopefully what's it called? Hopefully they can open up. Hopefully the Lord and Taylor because they have a new tenant in there, and hopefully I can ride the elevator in there. If that's also a Vector too. Oh yeah, Bar Louie's not doing too good right now. So yeah, a lot of stores aren't doing too good right now. There's a big problem with that. But it's every day it seems to be a new store closing. No, I think it's the other way around. I don't think Von Maurer is looking to expand to New Jersey, but it would be cool. It would be a cool idea. I think Brookfield. I think Westfield should buy Brookfield. Westfield does have good properties. You got Westfield Garden State Plaza, you got Westfield World Trade Center, and you got Westfield South Shore. You also have Westfield Trumbull, and you have yeah, Westfield. Yeah, I think Westfield Trumbull's the only good one in Connecticut. So you have decent Westfield properties, but who knows what's going to happen with that? No, I don't think it would be a good idea for Brookfield to buy Westfield. I think it's the other way around. That's even if Westfield wants presence in. If they wanted to expand their footprint in New Jersey, they could just do that. Have Westfield, I can't, Westfield Paramus Park, Westfield Willowbrook. Imagine. Or how about Westfield Monmouth? That could be something. Or Westfield Woodbridge. There you go. Make Eric. Yeah, that would be something if Make Eric did that, but they're gonna, yeah, every mall owner likes to choose the cheapest bidder unless it's one mall company that has an exclusive contract. Like say Westfield has an exclusive contract with Kone, or what's it called? Yeah, I think Lord and Taylor ECU is a one floor. You're right about that. I looked that up on a street view. It's interesting. I've never seen a one floor Lord and Taylor before, but I'm not surprised it's closing. Um, Yeah, but malls typically pick the cheapest bidder for elevator installation. They like to do it at the cheapest cost, and I could see exactly why. They don't want to pay the most. They would rather pay the least if they can. 555 has an exclusive contract with Kone, and Westfield has an exclusive contract with Kone. Simon, it depends on the type of mall. Like if it's an upscale mall, they'll use ThyssenKrupp. If it's a lower scale mall, they'll use something like Kone, kind of like what they did with Roosevelt Field, and I think another mall near like Washington D.C. Yeah, I think Westfield Sunrise is done at this point. I mean, Sears is hanging on by a thread, and somebody already has said that they closed off the third floor. So it's only a matter of time before they pull the plug on that store. And I'm sure that that day is coming very soon. That store at Westfield Sunrise is on borrowed time, that Sears in particular. And I wouldn't be surprised if, what's it called? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that store is folding in the next couple of weeks or so. Interesting. So maybe XL tries to get all the contracts. Oh, Fair Oaks. Wow, that's a shame, man. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of those smaller stores like Aldo, Justice, GNC, and Victoria's Secret. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I mean, Westfield Sunrise at this point, I mean, Westfield is even embarrassed to have the name on the mall. Like it's gotten that like I went there 3 years ago to see JC Penney. And now here we are 3 years later and things have not improved for that mall. So I think that mall is on borrowed time. I think Westfield is going to slowly phase out the Westfield name in the Sunrise property because they're not advertising it as a premier property at this point. I think Westfield what they should do is count their losses and just can focus on South Shore because with Lord and Taylor now closing at that mall, they're gonna really need to reposition themselves as a great premier destination mall. I think if Westfield had South Shore, at least they have one Long Island property, and at least they have one New York City property. I think what's gonna happen is Westfield is gonna slowly move away from Sunrise because I mean they haven't renovated the floor. I mean, why would they even have the mall bearing their name? It's that mall's an embarrassment to them, honestly. So all because that one person on the board of town on Oyster Bay said no, which to me is just bad. So. Otis Series 6 because it's rare, yes. Yeah. Well, and the other problem is too, a lot of people during the pandemic, between the months of the middle of March all the way up to like May, June, when they stores started opening up again slowly, um, they that's why those stores are struggling now. Oh, they are? Oh, that's a shame. Yeah. Well, Simon really likes Roosevelt Field, and I think they're gonna hold on to it because that's a really good mall for them to hold on to. I don't think they're letting that mall go. They were going to take over the mall at Short Hills, but I was very happy when the Simon and Tallman merger was scrapped because of the pandemic. If there's one good thing that came out of the coronavirus pandemic, it was the merger. It was the Simon and Tallman merger because that would have been an absolute disaster. It's not four. It was a guy on the board of the town of Oyster Bay who did not want the mall renovated. So that guy pretty much doomed the mall. I don't know who that guy was, but it was some guy on the board of the town of Oyster Bay who didn't want it. But yeah, I mean, I think what's going to happen is Westfield is embarrassed to have that mall in their portfolio of shopping malls. Like Westfield wouldn't be embarrassed to have Westfield Garden State Plaza. They have pumped so much money into that mall, and there's so many great things to do there. You look at a Westfield mall like Westfield Sunrise. There's empty stores. The floor hasn't been renovated. Its days as a shopping mall are numbered and are probably on borrowed time at this point. Sears is going to close, and then what's going to be there? Macy's. You could find that anywhere on Long Island. So that mall is done. Honestly, I mean, I think that and Dave and Buster's isn't even open right now because of the pandemic. Even Dave and Buster's could look to pulling out Not to mention they just put a brand new store there. They could pull out, Dick's could pull out, and then that's it. That mall is dead. So they're better off making. I think personally, knock down the whole mall and turn that into a whole town center. That's what I think has to happen with Westfield Sunrise. You can keep Dick's, keep Dave and Buster's. They can be part of the whole new town center development, but Westfield Sunrise as a mall just has to go. I'm sorry. Westfield inherited it in 2005 and they did nothing to the mall. There was no investment. There was no nothing. It was just nothing good came out of Westfield Sunrise, and it's a shame. But what can you do? Yeah, Roosevelt Field is that's a good Simon Mall. That's a good Simon Mall. Walt Women Shops is a good Simon Mall, and Smith Haven's a good Simon Mall. All three good Simon Malls on Long Island. Roosevelt Field, Walt Women Shops, Smith Haven Mall. Except Smith Haven just lost their Sears earlier this year, and they lost their J.C. Penney last year. Hi, John C. How are you? Hi, Fantech0104. How are you? Yep. And that guy doomed them all, and I don't know where he is now, but he doomed the fate of Westfield Sunrise, which is unfortunate. And, literally today they just announced that they're phasing out the Westfield name, which is not surprising. See, and Westfield does this, but they have selective properties they like to invest in, like Westfield Garden State Plaza. They ain't going to let that go. They love spreading the Westfield name across that mall. They're proud of that Westfield mall. They're not going to phase that name out. Well, South Shore, they're proud too, but there's not. A lot of the department stores were doomed before the pandemic. Like Lord and Taylor didn't have a plan, um, so they were bad. But J.C. Penney, that's a blow, definitely. So yeah, it's a good store. Yeah, I'm good, Fantech0104. Thanks for asking. Yeah, it's a really nice mall. I'm gonna try and get there. I don't know, either this year or next year, depending on if something decides to close there. Is Westfield Sunrise most likely becoming a dead mall? Yes. Yeah. I mean, the Dave and Buster's isn't open there. You got Dick's and Macy's. Those are the only two high profile stores. No J.C. Penney, and you got a sad Sears, which is somehow still hanging on to today. It's one of the few 3-level stores left in the area. So you got that one, and then you got the one up in White Plains. So no, Lord and Taylor too. Yeah, Roosevelt Field's the best one on Long Island, the best mall on Long Island. Yes. If it's a dry powered Dover, yes, that's a loss. Anything that's like dry powered or oil hydraulic, that's a loss. Yeah, if it's like Westfield Sunrise, like a Burlington Dover, that's a loss. Or a Dover Classic from the 80s, yes, that's a loss. A Schindler MT, no, that ain't a loss. But I would go out there if I decided to spend the day at Walt Women Shops. Dry powered Dover, yes, that's a loss. That's a huge loss. So far, the biggest loss of this year was definitely had to be Macy's Broadway Commons. That was the biggest loss this year. The second biggest loss was Nordstrom's Freehold. So, nope, Lord and Taylor Walt Women Shops is not closing, at least for now. Yeah, they have an AMC 8. Actually, EW Howell, it was the same construction company that did the AMC Garden State 16 at Westfield Garden State Plaza. The same construction company that renovated the Roosevelt Field movie theater. Probably. You probably should. Interesting. Interesting. Hopefully somebody can get there. No. They're gonna close 38 stores if they can't find a buyer. So they're keeping the fleet of about half. They're closing 19 out of 38 stores. So they're keeping all the stores here. Oh no, Macy's and Comac is done. Most of the inventory was shipped off to Smith Haven, Walt Women's Shops, and Westfield South Shore. That's closed. Yeah, that did not open after the pandemic. Somebody even called a nearby Macy's store and said, yeah, the inventory was shipped off. What about King of Prussia? No, the Lord and Taylor King of Prussia is remaining for now at least. But I really do hope that Lord and Taylor can find a buyer because Lord and Taylor does have a huge following, and there's people that really like it. One of my family members actually really likes shopping there, so hopefully they can be saved. It would be really nice. We especially need to find a buyer, especially with everything that's going on right now with coronavirus. Hopefully they can find a buyer. So there's another. The other one in Pennsylvania is closing, but King of Prussia is not closing. It's the freestanding one in Pennsylvania. I think Matt just filmed it not too long ago. I think he just uploaded a video maybe like I think it was yesterday, maybe like 2 days ago. I'm not 100% sure. It's coming. I'm not saying when. It's a surprise. I like to surprise everybody with that. Because the landlord had unfortunately had the BJ's Wholesale Club lined up because he was that greedy and selfish and wanted the BJ's Wholesale Club so badly. Which is unfortunate. And the landlord held them to their word. They said they had to be out of there by June, so they couldn't even do liquidation sales. So Macy's corporate had no choice but to take all the inventory and ship it off to other nearby stores, which is fine, I guess. Walmart closed in the Dead Mall and Target. Yeah, there's a Target at Broadway Commons. Yeah, well, I'm sure there's going to be a buyer. I'm sure someone's going to buy it. I mean, think about it. Lord and Taylor, it's valuable enough where it's worth saving. I know it sucks, but Lord and Taylor has a lot more value than say like Sears. And especially in the New York metropolitan area, that's where Lord and Taylor has most of their following. So I think Lord and Taylor might very well find a new buyer, and maybe they'll do a new flagship store. But they are shedding off 3 stores in the New York City area: Willowbrook, Yonkers, and Bayshore. So Westfield South Shore, Willowbrook Mall, and Ridge Hill Yonkers. No, Macy's quit Broadway because it was an underperforming store, and that was another corporate decision. They needed to pay off some debt from a renovation on the basement. It was actually supposed to close in 2019, but then because they had to pay that off, they had to wait till earlier this year, and that literally closed right as COVID was beginning. That was like the last day that store was opened. That was when they closed their whole fleet of stores. And then that was it. And literally at like after 6 p.m., that store was just giving stuff away for free. And that was it. And recently they took the sign down too on that one. And they took the sign down for Comac. So that store is done pretty much. Nordstrom's Freehill, they took the sign down for. What's another store that they're going to take the sign down for? Well, Willowbrook, whenever it's done liquidating. So yeah, lots of liquidation sales. This year in review is going to be very interesting, guys. And we're only in August. We still have a long way to go before 2020 is over. We still have to get through September. We still got to get through fall. We got to get through September, October, November, and December. So buckle up, everybody. It's going to be a long, bumpy ride. Hi, Shia, the Ultimate Advanced Animator 2020. How are you? It is. It is a classic department store. It's going to be an interesting year in review when it's all said and done. That's for sure. Which I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. Yeah, I can't wait for American Dream to reopen too, personally. So, yeah, it's a very bumpy ride. Yep, absolutely. Could not agree more with that statement. I don't think so, but who knows at this point. No, and honestly, no store is safe from closing unless you have a lot of rainy day funds. A&S, they merged with Federated Department Stores in 95, and a lot of their stores were rebranded to Macy's. So, buy Elevators of Steel City by Otis Elevator Fan 102. Thanks again for joining. Not much. Not much. Not this time. Eddie Lampert ain't up to too much. So, it's a lot of people on here. But be interesting to see what happens with all the crazy stuff going on. So, anyways, I think that's pretty much it. All right. All right, guys. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was 95. It was converted to a Sears because at the time Sears had another location in New Brunswick, and then in 95 they got to Woodbridge in Chandler, Arizona. Really, and I guess they didn't have a fixture liquidation sale. Yeah, 2020 has sure been a roller coaster. But anyways. All right, guys. So I think I'm going to wrap up this live stream for today. I had a really good time, and I'm glad we got to talk about some things. I don't think so. We might do pictures and stuff, but probably. But I don't. But not anytime soon. Probably a lot of these stores probably not going to be bulldozed until there's a vaccine. So, all right, everybody. So we're going to go ahead and end this live stream. I appreciate you all for watching again. Stay tuned for more videos coming out this week. Well, a lot of locations had fixed your liquidation sale, so that's what happened. But anyways, hi, Elevator Guy. You just joined me as I was about to leave. So next time, man, I'm going to have another live stream maybe Friday. But all right, guys. So thank you for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks again for watching. That's it.